Hi everyone, I'm Frida and I'm back with another video. In this video I would like to show you how I made this Cloisonne enamel barn owl pendant. But first I would like to say thank you for my patrons for the support. First I cut out the square, which is the shape of the pendant. I'm working with fine silver. This pendant is going to have folded up sides to give it a nice frame, so I cut out the corners to be able to fold up the sides. With this sharp tool, I'm going to cut the material partially along the scored lines. When I was done with all four sides, I got my steel block and I folded the sides along the edge of the steel block with my hammer. I managed to do two sides on the big block, and I have a smaller insert which I put it in my vise, which helped me to finish off the other two sides. The next step of this process is to fold the cloisonne wires. Cloisonne is a French word and it means the little cells between the wires. We create these cells by folding the wires along the design. Later we are going to fill up in between these cells with colorful glass. These wires are flat fine silver wires and I rolled them in my rolling mill. I like the wires to be springy, so I don't nail them. I think it's easier to fold nice curves with harder wires. I use pliers and tweezers and I secure the wires on a sticky tape until I put them on the surface of the base. It's a really long, tedious process, so as you can tell, I sped up the video. After that, I finished preparing the base by sifting the counter enamel. I did 2 coats and I fired it off camera before I applied the clear fuse on the front. I also fired that off camera. When it cooled off, I started to place the pre-folded wires on the surface. I'm using glue here, this way they stay put until the next firing. This process can be a little bit difficult because you don't see exactly where the wires should go. I usually start with the middle part, or I start with placing the biggest wire first, as you can see it here. When it was done, I waited the glue to dry and I fired it in my kiln off camera. The next step of this process is applying the colors. I'm very excited about this pendant because I just love owls. I have a lots of personal experience with owls. They live in the mine shafts on our land. We have bighorn owls and also barn owls, and I see them sometimes after the sun sets during my evening walk. Enamel is basically crushed glass. These enamels are all washed, and I have a video on my Patreon about how exactly I wash and store my enamels. Please check it out if you're interested. When I finished applying all the colors, I waited the pendant to dry and I fired it in my kiln on 1400 Fahrenheit for 2 minutes. Enamel shrinks during firing, so I actually applied 3 more coats. I'm doing exactly the same thing as I did the first time around. I'm using a paintbrush, a scraper to get these enamels in between the little cells. I'm going to share all the materials and colors I used for this pendant on my Patreon. The link is going to be in the description. I'm almost done with the second layer here, and when I was done, I waited the piece to dry and I fired it in my kiln off camera. I applied 2 more layers off camera also. The last thing I have to do to finish off this pendant is the sanding. With this, I make the surface smooth and I expose the wires. Enamel loses its shine during this process, so I fire it again to get the shine back. Here I show you for a moment how different the colors look when it was just removed from the kiln. As it cools, the real colors come back slowly. This is how it turned out. Actually, this is a custom order and I hope they're going to love it. I think the colors turned out really pretty. If you like my work and you found this video interesting, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It would help me a lot to create more interesting videos in the future. The link is going to be in the description. You can also show your support by subscribing to my channel, liking, sharing my videos, and also commenting on them. This was it for today. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!